What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin. I'm back. This time it's for AEW Rampage. I'll say it wasn't it's not what it usually would be, typical like a typical Rampage, but it was just like if it came and gone, like if it was if it was here and it was there, if it was barely a half an hour on tonight's AEW Rampage. But without further ado, we're going to talk about the first match, which I'll say this was the second match of the night, if not the match of the night itself, or maybe it could be tied, but I would say for now, second match of the night, because main event was a massive banger between Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy, which they finally gave more credit. Oh, yeah, see you in just a moment. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Huh? Oh, close door? Okay. Okay, yes, sir. But anyways, we had Don Callis in the ringside area. He was sitting and watching Chris Jericho's match against Matt Sydal. And then this is where we got the match, which I'm not sure if both of these men ever wrestled in WWE before, but they did they did on tonight's recent episode of Dynamite, which it was a very I'll say it was a very entertaining contest. Like, I hope we get more matches like this more often, and we see Matt Sydal more often, because he's one underrated individual. Like, just to be honest, in my opinion, I even liked this guy even when I was like about 6 or 7 years old watching him in WWE when he was teaming with the likes of Kofi Kingston and Rey Mysterio in WWE. Like, he does not get the credit that he deserves. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, in wrestling in general. But anyways, this is where Matt Sydal easily hit a hurricane right on the Jericho. He went flat, crashing down right into the canvas. This is where he clotheslines Jericho out of the ring, and he flips right into the ringside area into the left corner. This is where Matt Sydal continuing to do more damages onto the Ocho. This is where he hits a sliding drop kick right to the face of Chris Jericho, right into the side, right that side. And this is where he goes for a moon. This is where Matt Sydal goes for a running meteor right into the middle ropes. Right in the middle rope. Right off the left corner apron, I should say. Right onto the knees to the face. I remember him doing this since 2008. Like, when he was wrestling the likes of Kane and Cody Rhodes and them, and even Randy Orton, and all the other wrestlers back in his time in WWE, like 2008, 2009, 2010. And even when in that famous spot where he does the airborne, but Randy Orton caught him with the RKO. But anyways, that's where Matt Sydal's it's all in here, all in the mind. And this is where the fans get up off your seat. This is where he throws him back in the ring. This is where Matt Sydal goes right on the middle ropes. This is where Matt Sydal goes for a meteor right to the face of Chris Jericho. This is where, for a second time, this is where he tried to go for a pin, but this is where Chris Jericho got the shoulders up right before 3, between 2.8 or 2.9. This is where Matt Sydal was like, oh man, why did he kick out of the... And then, and Don Callis was continuing trash talk on Chris Jericho on how much of a and I quote, narcissist, psychopath that he is, which I'm not gonna agree on that with onto Don Callis. I was like, I'm not sure if that's a reference to about these rumored accusations about the rumors of him getting accused about him and Kylie Ray, which I think that's not the case, but at the same time, it kind of sounds like it the way he said it. But then again, it's just the rumors in general, whether if he was referring to that, but I doubt that. But anyway, but back to the match. This is where Jericho hits a back suplex right onto Matt Sydal. This is where and Chris Jericho grabs onto the head of Matt Sydal, start hitting nothing but chops, probably trying to draw the attention of Gunther rather than drawing the attention of his controversies as of late, of false accusations onto the former AEW champion. But this is where he started repeatedly hitting chops repeatedly right onto right onto Matt Sydal, like repeatedly onto the lower right corner. This is where he tried to go for a clothesline right on the Matt Sydal on the upper left corner, but he gets instantly kicked right into the face of by Matt Sydal. This is where Matt Sydal started hitting some right kicks, some right kicks right into the back knee, and then the left kicks right into the chest of Chris Jericho. This is where he's like. And he's like, in the finish of my centerpiece. This is where he tried to go for a right upper attic roundhouse kick right into the shoulder and the chest, but Jericho dodges out of the way. This is where he tried to go for a German suplex, but this is where Matt Sydal tried to go for a wrist lock, but Jericho counters out of it, flips it, turns it and flipping into a walls of Jericho right onto Matt Sydal, inside the middle of the canvas. Like, well, we tried to do the maneuver, but Matt Sydal managed to try to flip out of it, but Chris Jericho was struggling at first, but he managed to turn him over and hit the walls of Jericho right in the middle of the ring, squeezing his legs back and sitting on his back while doing the maneuver in the process, of course, like he would do with all his other opponents, like for the past 30 years of him wrestling in professional wrestling. Yeah. Wrestling in all of professional wrestling. Actually. What are you doing? Anyway, this is where but no, Trey, you don't be spraying everywhere. But anyway, this is where Matt Sydal flipped out of it, but this is where Jericho managed to managed to drop kick him out of the ring, I believe. I believe it was a drop kick. Wait, please quit doing that. What are you doing? Stop. But anyway, this is where they start hitting. This is where Matt Sydal got back in the ring. This is where then they start hitting blows right onto their face until Chris Jericho hits a running shoulder tackle right onto Matt Sydal's arm. And this is where he goes for right on the Matt Sydal right arm, and this is where he did it again until he got thrown right off the right side corner of the ropes, and right onto the apron. This is where Jericho tried to go for the flying axe handle in this comeback move. Like right off the top rope, the move that he's been doing ever since his WWE days, of course. But this is where Matt Sydal hit the strike, like a left leg strike kick right onto the ribs of Jericho. No pickle. But this is where Matt Sydal then went for what's that standing corkscrew dingamajig splash right onto Jericho. This by a near fall of 1, 2, 2.9999999, double triple nines away from being 3. Here you go. But this is where Matt Sydal was screaming in agony and anger. He was like, what does it take to put away this put away Jericho? This is where he tried to go right up on the top, but Jericho stopped him from hitting a dive on him. It got him right onto his back. This is where he looked like he was about to hit a spider suplex or some kind of a back superplex, but this is where Matt Sydal intercepted into a sunset flip when he tried to go for a back suplex and slammed him right into the middle of the canvas. This is where he had his shoulders flat on the mat. This is where he still kicked out at 2.8. This is where Matt Sydal's like, damn it, once again. This is where This is where Matt Sydal then tried to charge at Jericho because he was in the the lower right corner. This is where he missed him right by a second, but he was like, no matter, I'm gonna improvise, go for a springboard crossbody. But Jericho still caught him in a code breaker, but it was kind of botched, if not fully botched, because he got the knees up. It looked like he did a knee strike rather than a code breaker when he slammed him with his knees and he went down to the ground. This is where Jericho did try to go for a pin. The Aubrey Edwards counted the one, counted the two, but so close, but only at a 2.7 count. This is where then Jericho Irish whips Matt Sydal from the bottom corner to the top corner. This is where Matt Sydal then hits a flying hit scissor, turn into like a spider spin roll up like maneuver. This is where Aubrey Edwards goes for a pin. This is where he nearly got him, but Jericho was lucky to flip right over when Aubrey Edwards was about to hit 3, but he managed to escape out of the pinfall right on time. This is where Matt Sydal's like, "Oh my God!" He was getting more and more angry. But this is where he go for a right strike kick. This is where attic roundhouse kick. This is where Jericho picks him up. This is where Matt Sydal try to hit a running splash, but Jericho carry Matt Sydal. This is where he had him in a fireman's carry position. This is where he hits him with a stand-up version of my signature move, which is known as the most dominating move in all of sports entertainment in Super Ninja Austin's world. The Assas Valley Driver, which it wasn't the Assas Valley Driver. It was just the basic. It's the basic stand-up Death Valley Driver. But anyway, this is where Chris Jericho then he's like, "Come on, people, let's go, baby." This is where he tried to go for the lion stomp, but this is where Matt Sydal put the knees up right on the Chris Jericho before he could land on him. This is where Jericho then try to go for a code breaker, but this is where Matt Sydal counters and then grab him by his head and hits this spinning crucifix slam right onto Jericho, but he kicks at a 2.999999999 double triple nines minus 0.1 away from being 3. This is where Matt Sydal started whacking him with right knife edge chops, which he's trying to find a way to get back to WWE to maybe face Gunther, but he's rather provoking him rather than trying to get some attentions from the Stanford-based company. But this is where Jericho then went back and started hitting chops of his own and started whacking him, which I'm not sure if he impressing Gunther, the ring general. Like if for any good reason to do the move, but this is where Jericho put Matt Sydal right onto the lower left corner of the top rope. This is where he goes for a suplex. Try to go for a superplex right off the top rope. This is where he start hitting single axe handle after single axe handle, and then start hitting right hands right onto the face of Matt Sydal. This is where Jericho then got go for. This is where Jericho did something that he never did in years, and that was a Hurricane Rana. But this time on top of the lower left corner of the top turnbuckle. This is where like he does a kip up a Hurricane Rana right onto Matt Sydal, which I thought I would never see him do that ever again, even for him looking impressive at the age of 52 or even 53. No, he's 53 years old. Yeah, Jericho. And this is where he got back up, hit the Judas effect right onto Matt Sydal. Yeah, right onto Matt Sydal. Got the 1, 2, 3. He got the win. He sort of celebrated with his hand raised, but he's like, "There's one thing I need to do now is to finish off Don Callis once and for all." This is where he was like, "You're on my next hit list, Don." And this is where Jericho's like, "Hey, Don, like." This is where Jericho was like, "Yeah, what's up?" This is where he's like, "You're not," and this is where he walked out of the. This is where then Jericho was about to head back in the backstage area, but this is where I believe Konosuke Takeshita, I think it was. Oh yeah, it was the Konosuke Takeshita. He started throwing fists at Jericho, but Jericho started going back towards the fist of his own. This is where they try. This is where the backstage producers and the referees and security start breaking it up, like if it was like on tonight's SmackDown with LA Knight and AJ Styles. Like, all right, calm down, people. Like save it for when y'all scheduled in for a match. But anyways, this is where we got. Next up, we have this is where we got Penta El Ziedo Miedo, like taking on taking on one half of the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry, I believe his name is. But yeah, this was just nothing like I'll say nothing out of the ordinary. I'll say even though like this was not like a usual a rampage, like for sure, like not that much of it, only just like a little bit. I would say like halfway, if that makes sense. Like because but like despite that, they still had put on a great show, even though they have like wrestlers like main event worthy like Chris Jericho and the Darby Allin, like and Jeff Hardy. Well, Jeff Hardy haven't been in the main event scene for quite a while, but I would say we could. But he's still known as like a main event player when it comes to singles action, I should say. So I would say like guys like Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy, like a young upcoming star like Darby Allin, like facing someone that has years of experience when it comes to the World Championship gold, whether it was from WWE or TNA. But anyways, this is where we got. But yeah, we're gonna start off with we'll continue not starting off, but we're gonna start off with this next match, second match, which is Anthony Henry taking on Penta El Ziedo Miedo. This is where he's about to do this catchphrase. This is where Anthony Henry was like, not now, not in the mood. This is where Penta was doing a roundhouse kick right into the midsection. He was like, this is where Penta got him in a headlock right onto the left corner side ropes. This is where he gets Irish whip from there to the right side. This is where Anthony Henry started doing ducks and leapfrogs until right after he dodged out the leapfrog, he went right back. This is where Anthony Henry tried to go for like some kind of a backflip cartwheel kind of maneuver, like to a head scissor, but he gets kicked right into the side of kick right to the ribs of Anthony Henry. This is where he tried to Irish whip him right into the upper right corner, but he gets reversed by Anthony Henry. This is where he's like, come on, bring it on. And this is where Penta tried to bring it on with a clothesline, but this is where Anthony Henry ducks out of the way, hits a backstabber right onto Penta El Ziedo Miedo. This is where he pushes him right into the corner turnbuckles. This is where he hit the German suplex, perhaps inspired by, which was probably inspired by Chad Gable. I'm just kidding, but the only thing difference is that he doesn't roll right onto the ground and flips him right back over into a German suplex. But anyways, this is where Anthony Henry does hit a right-legged sliding kick right into the head of Penta. This one we got him a 2.1 count, I believe. And then this is where This is where Anthony Henry started hitting a knee strike right onto the face of Penta El Ziedo Miedo, which I'm not trying to fully say his name like that. But anyway, he started hitting knees and lefts and rights right into the face. This is where he pushes him right to the bottom right. This is where Anthony Henry is like workhorse, and this is where he tried to run at Penta. And this is where he gets hit out of nowhere hit him with hit him with a stop sign super kick, which they put up no stop sign, only just a super kick. And this is where Anthony Henry flipped him over right onto the rope. This is where he was right onto the, and then this is where he tried to charge at him, but he to put him around the top rope onto sent him right to the top turnbuckle onto the lower right corner. He put his legs right up in midair, right 20 feet in the air, while he was hanging on the ropes, or even 15 feet, I should say. And this is where Penta caught him with a super kick. This is where Penta picked him up into a fireman's carry position. And I was like, hopefully he's going for my signature move, which is the Death Valley Driver, which I call it the Assassin Valley Driver. This is where Penta was like, and this is where he'd spin him around and hit the move. I was like, and I was doing the dance of joy because Penta was doing my signature move, which I hope I'm not sounding very weird and embarrassing by saying that, but yeah, he hit the move that I usually use, like when I have my character on wrestling games, like on WWE 2K23 and WWE 2K23 and AEW Fight Forever. But anyways, he tried to go for a pinfall maneuver. This is where Anthony Henry kicks out on his left shoulder, which the Penta was very disappointed. Same with me because the move is very underrated in WWE and AEW. It should be giving you wins rather than losses. Like when it comes to hitting such maneuver, in my opinion, but that's only my opinion, of course. Well, not only, I'm not sure. There's probably some people out there in the IWC that would agree with me on that. That the Death Valley Driver is the most underrated move in all sports entertainment and professional wrestling. But at the same time, most dominating move. It just needs to be ventured out is the most dominating move. But anyways, this is where we got a wheelbarrow German suplex right on the right with Anthony Henry. I think that's what his name is. Yeah. This is where Anthony Henry tried to count out of it into a wheelbarrow roll, like into a barrel roll, and then he hit the double foot stomp. Then a shin striking kick right into the paint of Penta. This is where Penta kicks out at 2.7. This is where Penta can barely catch his breath. Like this. Like this is like this. Like he was like, I gotta admit, this